The last goodbye to me means, I don't know if it's stupid to say, but exactly how it's read. It's the last goodbye. It's for me, it's just pain. Pain in its life. It's this real crazy journey that we're on, and we don't know when it can be over. I guess that's what it really means to me. Aburden started 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago now. At the start it wasn't easy. Like I said, we were just, I guess, kids. We had no idea what we were doing, and we jumped on as many shows, whether it was with a deathcore band, to a rock band, to a folk band. It didn't matter what it was, we just wanted to play shows. I think we played 37 shows in the first year, something stupid like that. Any opportunity we had, we played. So at the start, I guess, no one really took us serious. We felt like we were a joke in a sense. We believed in what we did and we had a lot of fun, so it really didn't matter, but no one really took us serious, I guess, until we released They Say, and we started releasing songs off My Old Friends. So the journey at the start was hard, but we played any show, whether it was in Melbourne, whether it was in Sydney. No matter where it was, we travelled, we didn't care. We all don't really have a proper, an income or a job. We kind of just live day to day and life to life, paycheck to paycheck, just to be able to play music, with no hope or with no end goal of making money or being this big band. It was just that we believed in so much, and we still do believe so much in what we do, and that we love it. So we just took any chance we can to be able to play and to be able to travel and to be able to share moments with our friends and or make new friends. So the start was really hard, but then after My Old Friend release, it definitely changed for us. People took us a lot more serious, and we got to play some amazing shows and then headline some of our own shows, which has been the best shows to date for us. Shows that we'll never ever forget, and moments that I still look back at every day and just, I get put back in that position, and the feeling that I had from that show still is with me today.
I remember getting a call from Mason on the 31st of December in 2015. And he asked me, I'm pretty sure this is my memory of how I joined. He asked me if I wanted to be in a band, play guitar and sing. He wanted a melodic hardcore, and I had no idea what melodic hardcore was, so that was fun. And from there we played every show we were given. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we wanted to do. We were just playing shows. We wrote My Old Friend over the span of a year, fine-tuning the songs through playing them live. Every single song was written together in our practicing room. It's been a long journey financially. Everything kind of got put on the back burner while we focused on music. Obviously at the start we didn't take anything too seriously, but as we progressed we knew that all we wanted to do was be musicians. Obviously, like, from being 14 and picking up a guitar, all I wanted to do was be a musician. I just didn't know how to be. And Aburden was my opportunity to strive towards being a musician. And you know, I'd never went to uni, so all I did was go to work and work towards music. You know, there's a lot of strained relationships, a lot of different jobs, losing money. You know, that's the journey that we took in order to get where we are today, and to be able to produce 2 beautiful EPs that I am so proud of, and hopefully a couple of albums.
I don't know, this band is my job, this band is my life, it's my everything pretty much. So the challenges I've definitely had is being able to keep a roof over my head, being able to keep in contact with my family, being able to, you know, have friends, but also spend so much of my time invested into this band, and also to keep relationships. And because at the end of the day, this band is my life, and it's just been the thing that pulled me completely out of the dark. You know, before Aburden, I had no idea what I was doing, and this Aburden definitely gave me a big sense, a big purpose in life. I know I'm facing a big change in my life, having my first child, so in going into this new release, which is the most ambitious thing that we've ever done, and then going through this whole change in life, having a family now, it's so scary, and so it's just waters I've never touched before. So definitely, like, the challenge for me is just to keep that roof over my family, and to give my kid the best upbringing that could ever have, and to be the best father that I can be to her, because that's all I've ever wanted from my daughter. Because I guess in my life, I didn't have the best father to grow up with. So if I can be the best father that I possibly can to my daughter, I know I really want in 10 years for her to look back and be like, this is what my dad did, and to be able to show her friends, and just to be able to have that there and to hold it, and for her to know that, you know, everything I do is because I set out goals for myself, and I really want to achieve them, and I put my heart into anything. And if she can go into her life with the same motivation and the same attitude that I have, well, then I've achieved everything that I can in life.
So the life experiences that I've had in Aburden, I never thought I'd experience. Being able to travel around, obviously I'd never be able to do that when not being a musician. I've got to meet such wonderful people. I never thought I'd get to go to every state, well, pretty much nearly every state, and have friends there that I wouldn't see for months, but I'd see when we're on tour or if we have a show. The life experiences have been good, but they've also been bad, you know, dealing with personal issues while also trying to be a full-time musician is hard. I've lost a lot of jobs, I've lost a lot of relationships, I've had a lot of rocky relationships. Obviously work life, trying to balance a full-time job while also trying to work towards being a full-time musician is hard, you know, making it to everything. And you know, it's hard, but I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, mental states and depression play a big part in my struggles with music, but I'm glad that I have the boys to help me whenever I need it. We get through, we'll always get through, but that's being a human, I guess.
Process of the last goodbye was so different to my old friend. My old friend we were very young and immature. We got together as friends, and all we wanted to do was play shows. We kind of constructed a 4-song set list, whether I knew the lyrics or not, and we kind of just jumped on stage. You know, we just had a lot of fun, and that was all my old friend was over playing shows for like a year and a half, and every show would kind of work on the songs a little bit more. So every time you come and see our band in the first year was like each song was played differently each set. And when we went to recording, there was no pre-production. We kind of just gave video recordings to Chris of these songs, and like, this is what they sound like. So he kind of had no real idea of what the end product was going to be like. But for the last goodbye, it was after that we kind of sat down and was like, we love what we do. My old friend got received so well, so we want to put a lot more extra time in this record. Tuska was the first step that we took is to get to the sound that we are now and what Aburden is now. We all knew that My Old Friend wasn't what we wanted to write, because we didn't know what to do at the start. So To the Sky, when we wrote that, when we went on the Storm the Sky tour, and we wrote that playing at every show, just like My Old Friend, that was the start of, I guess, an ambitious step for Aburden. It was a direction that we've never been, and just felt so natural for us to go in that direction. after we first had the song To The Sky, we sent it to Josh from Grayscale, just to see if he liked the song. Because he released They Say for us on Triple J before, and you know we've had a couple of radio stuff through Josh, and he's been an amazing supporter for us. So we sent to this guy as like, hey mate, this is a new song, what do you think? And then, you know, within a couple months we signed our first record deal to Grayscale, and it was, for us, it was just the biggest dream and a highlight we've never thought to achieve, we never could achieve, we didn't even know it was possible. It was kind of looking at bands like when you're a kid looking at Radiohead and thinking, wow, that's a band signed to a record label, that's the coolest thing. And to have that come from my old friend and from, I guess, The Last Goodbye, that for me was definitely one of the biggest highlights I've ever had in my life. Writing process was different. We contacted Evan and Ash, who ended up working with on the record, and we spoke to them that we were interested in doing a record. At first it was an album, and then we ended up going to an EP. But we knew we just wanted to write it really organic. It was something that wanted to come completely natural. There was no sitting really at a computer and sitting there writing with a guitar. For us, we wrote so much better when we're in a room. We're a band in a room and we're just jamming. And for us, that's what works best. So we decided to hire an Airbnb up in the woods. I didn't even know where it was. And we bring all the studio gear into this Airbnb, and it was like the layout was like a living room. I had a kitchen and then like 3 bedrooms, and so we turned the living room into a live space for all of us to play. So we jammed in this live space every single day. We would just be playing and playing. If anyone gets an idea, we'd just run quickly back into this room, and then someone would just start playing, whether it was Kyle or Ben or Kylan or even Evan or Ash. Would just, as soon as someone had an idea, we'll just go in there and just jam and press record in the studio in like the main control room, run back in and just jam for maybe an hour. And we'll just go back and listen to these songs and see what parts we liked from these songs, and kind of constructed songs based on how it felt naturally to play these songs live. Because for us, this record, we wanted to write a record that was just so natural. Like the records that I love the most come from bands like Radiohead, Coldplay, Mumford & Sons, even like parts of like Black Sabbath, and a lot of those live records where it just feels like a band in the room and they're just playing along with their friends, and it just becomes so natural, and that's what that band sounds like, and that's what we wanted to capture a lot on The Last Goodbye.
The writing process was one of the craziest times of my life. Taking a week off to be able to go somewhere where we've never been before, no reception, no way to contact the outside world unless we drove 15 minutes down the road. Obviously we had different riffs and different chord progressions that we had recorded on our phones, but it was kind of like a blank slate. We came in not knowing if we were going to be able to write any songs, or we came in thinking maybe we could write 10, maybe we could maybe even come out with 1.
This is the first time we went away as a band, and it's got nothing to do with touring. It was kind of us just hanging out and kind of connecting as friends as well, and growing that bond that we already had such a strong bond, but this took it to another level. Fun. It was just a lot of stupid shit happened. We ate like pigs. We kind of had the worst diet.
For The Last Goodbye, we had this idea of what we wanted it to be, and I think working with Evan and Ash just really helped us get what we wanted to achieve, and I definitely think we have done that, and I couldn't be more proud of us, myself, for what The Last Goodbye is.
I remember the first time Evan and I went and saw these boys, and that was actually before my old friend came out, and they definitely had a vibe and a sound that was really unique to them. And we kind of knew straight away that they were a band that we had to work with, and that they had something really special.
We pretty much had a list of bands that we decided we wanted to work with, and we culled that down to 3 bands, and randomly Aburden happened to be one of those bands. And we were at Bang one night watching some bands, and then Mace approached me and was like, hey, I really like the stuff you guys are doing together. I think Aburden and you guys would be a great fit to do something together, and we obviously instantly said yes.
I think something really cool is just how far they've kind of progressed and matured just even in the last year since My Old Friend came out. I think this release is a real step up. It's real mature, and I think our sort of idea was to try and keep as much of that, what really made Aburden special that we saw kind of live that first time, but really try and push them into kind of new directions and new sounds, and kind of make it still sound like Aburden but just a bit more grown up.
So at the end of this week we had, I guess, 5 full band songs, which we were just so blown away with. And I think it wasn't that I rewrote songs to suit the lyrics or anything. I had that in the back burner, and it was just these songs, instrumental wise, just carried so much emotion, and it just as soon as I opened my mouth to these songs with words and stuff, it just became so natural of what lyrics I was going to use and what story of my life or things I wanted to say kind of suited each different song. But I'm so sorry! We came back to Melbourne after being away, and it was a couple of weeks before we went into the studio at the Loud Noise Estate. And then the real hard work started. It was the first week of tracking, which we tracked guitars, bass, and vocals at the same time off the pre-pros that we had written in the woods. And there's just so much time and effort going into them. Like, we were up early morning, straight into the studio, there till very late at night. I was in there every single day. Every member that could make it on certain days would come in, and whenever we were in there, we just put 110% effort, whether it was standing in there and doing 1,000 vocal takes, or is it standing in there, sitting in a room with your guitar and playing around with so many different tones, so many different pedals, and changing strings, and then keep retracking and retracking just to capture the best that we could possibly do, and the best that we could play.
We recorded in January, so pretty much the middle of summer. I was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, and it took me 2 days to record all the things that I needed to record, vocals and stuff. So those 2 days ended up being 40-degree days in an apartment that had the afternoon sun facing it. So obviously you can't have an air conditioner on, you can't have a fan on while you're recording vocals. So we were in this black soundproofed hot box of a room, having finished work at 2 o'clock the morning before, and spending 2 days, 13-hour days recording all the vocals that I needed to do. I didn't think it was possible. I thought I'd need more days, and I wish I did have more days, but that was the time that I had. And I'm so happy that even how angry I was during the process, just not believing that I could do the things that I ended up being able to do. I have Evan and Ash and Mason pushing me to new boundaries with my vocals. Vocally, this whole record for me pushed me into a whole different world. I didn't deliver any of the vocal styles that you hear on this record in My Old Friend. So for me, the songs like One For You and songs like Don't Say, and even Sorry, like, they've pushed me into a whole different world vocally. I knew I had it in me, and I guess Evan and Ash really pushed me to do the best and get the best out of my vocals on this record, definitely.
From like the genre side of things, even like we've changed basically to what we've wanted to always be. So My Old Friend was like, I wouldn't say immature, but it was a young Aburden. So basically, like, we've done what we had to do for the past year with My Old Friend stuff, and like, we loved it, we done it, but like, we always knew we wanted to change our style a little bit. We wanted to get to where we are now, and like, pretty much where we are now is where we're all happy to be here, and we love it.
I don't know, each song has a different world, I believe. Like, each song's so different to each other. So like, the first song on the record, Sorry for me is a lot about forgiving myself. It's a lot about pain and hatred I have against myself for a lot of situations. You know, I'm not perfect, just like everyone else. So it's just for me, just to kind of like, I don't know, put that back into myself, to understand that, you know, we're all not perfect, we all make mistakes. And I guess for me, that song was just like a big sorry to myself.
So there's 2 songs on the EP, one being hidden, which is probably not hidden now because I've just said it. The intro and outro, My Best Friend and My Old Friend, were two songs that we agreed from the start shouldn't have the normal recording process. Like, we didn't not plug straight into a not MIDI, just we set up in Mason's back room. It was him and me, just piano and singing. He played the piano and I sung in the middle of the room towards the mic that was miking up his piano. And it took a long time. It took the whole day to be able to record these two songs. Well, definitely took the whole day to record My Best Friend, just getting all the nuances and everything perfect, the timing perfect, not playing to a click. We played completely bare. And there's no real fine tuning. There's no tuning on the vocals. That's just completely raw. Every single sound, creak. Even at the start of My Best Friend, you can hear birds chirping.
So forgive me, my best friend, as I tried to help you.
So the artwork, we tossed and turned a lot, trying to decide whether or not we were going to get someone to do it, or we do it, or what we wanted to do. But I always, there was always a photo that I ended up finding, but when my grandfather passed away, it's a photo of my grandfather helping me walk at my sister's naming day. And I always wanted to do something with it, and I thought that this EP, which is obviously to me is about the grief and loss of a person or a relationship, I thought that picture was the best conveyor. It's someone that helped me walk, someone that helped me grow. Losing him obviously was one of the worst times of my life, so being able to use that picture was amazing.
Don't Say, the chorus I had written quite a long time ago when we wrote To the Sky, and it's just a simple message that I've been trying to say to whether it's my family, my friends growing up, or school teachers or anyone. It's just like that they don't understand what I'm feeling. It's because what I'm feeling is what I'm feeling, and no one can tell me that's right or wrong. You know, it's not okay. You know, depression will just go and things will just get better. It's not like that. Life is really hard and everyone feels differently, so no one can tell you that it's different.
19 is also a song that I myself dedicate to my grandfather. Not a lot of people know, but the meaning behind the name 19 is that the last time I saw my grandfather was on the 19th of the 6th, 2016. He had passed away 5 months after the last time I saw him. So we call it 19 because obviously that's the last time that I got to say goodbye. I never thought that it would be the last time, but it was. And I struggled for a long time to try and understand or come to terms with the fact that the last day that I saw him was the last day. I didn't know it, I didn't want it to be, but it was. And that song's about coming to terms with the fact that sometimes you don't get to say goodbye the way that you want to.
I don't think I've had an end picture of where I want this record to take me. It's more, I don't know, it's like a maturity growth for us and for myself. And it's like, my old friend, we had no like goals set for it, and it wasn't like we planned out to like play massive shows or get big responses or sell a lot of records. It was mainly just us putting out a record and wanting to put out a record for ourselves. And that's, I guess, why it did, well in a sense, was because we had no goals for it. There was no end achievement I wanted to achieve. There was nothing out of it. It was just whatever happens, happens. And if someone relates to this record, then I've achieved everything that I've ever wanted. And I think for the last goodbye for me was and is it's just the same as my old friend. It's just I want someone to relate to the stories behind it, someone relate to the things that I'm saying, and I guess what the music's trying to say in its own sense.
I want people to see it as a helping hand, a look into our lives, to know that you're not alone in grief, in depression, sadness, loss. We experience these things too. We're not all alone. We're we're a bunch of sad boys. We're going through things where we think we're alone, but obviously we're not. We've had albums and songs that have helped us, and I hope that that's the same for this record. I hope people see it as a hand that they can hold to help them get through times where they don't think they're going to see the end.
I guess life is that cliche that life is really short. You might not ever have the opportunity to see someone again. You never know when the last time you'll say goodbye to someone is. And for us, a lot of this is about pain, a lot of it's about grief and losing someone or losing people, even things and relationships and family and friends. You never know when your last chance to say goodbye to someone is. So, and also don't beat yourself up about that either. It's like it's just, these things happen. This is life on life's terms. It's really harsh, but it sucks. But I guess out of this, for me, I got to express finally how I feel. It's like my mourning period. It's like now I get to write everything down on a piece of paper, and I get to release every little bit of pain that I had over the years.
The last goodbye for me is the last time I got to say goodbye to the people that I've lost in my life, whether it be relationships, whether it be someone that has passed away. It's the day where you never thought it'd be the day that you'd say goodbye, but that was it, the final goodbye or the last goodbye that you get to have with a person, not knowing that it is going to be the last goodbye.